been in the news for the past few days. So John Holder was actually somebody who worked with us.
Well, he's going by John Ross.
Yes. Well, his name is John Holder, but he goes by John Ross.
Correct.
And so John actually worked with Jen on the campaign for Congress. He and his boyfriend at the time were very big helps for the campaign. And so post the campaign, paying it forward again, he was looking for more opportunities in the field.
He wanted to get paid because the three of us were just doing this and he set us up. He was our producer and I couldn't have wished him better. Like I would have loved to have paid him, but we were just like a hobby thing. Like we didn't have anything, you know? So he went to go work for David Pakman. And I was his job reference for him to get that job. And so it's just very interesting how now he's come full circle and he realized after working with Pakman that was not what he thought it would be.
Well, he did send me a couple of messages about a year ago saying, I'm not really sure about this Pakman guy anymore. I felt like telling him, well, listen, I could have told you that about 5.
We did tell him. I said to him, I'm like, and you said to him, like, but if that's what you want to do. So, but I was fine to give him a reference, if he wants to do that. I mean,
but we also know that there are a lot of people, listen, we see it with the Benny Johnsons, Tim Pools, Dave Rubins of the world. We see it with Dave Pakman, Brian Tyler Cohen. We've seen it with plenty of these guys. They have their hands out and they're ready to take the money. What is it that you want me to say? I'll say it. How much you going to pay me?
Yeah.
I'll do it for less. There are people who are, there's cheap whores out there that are willing to go along with it. So John had a lot to say. We offered to let him say it on our channel first. He decided to do it with his current employer, who we think very highly of, Nathan J. Robinson at Current Affairs. And of course, he did it as well with Taylor Lorenz.
Absolutely is deliberate. I actually have an email from him after he visited the White House last year on the day of Joe Biden's State of the Union address. He was invited to a private off-the-record meeting with Kamala Harris and several other content creators, including Brian Tyler Cohen, the Mycelis brothers from Midas Touch. And he told me that they all sort of talked amongst themselves at the White House, not in like an official capacity during the meeting, but, just casually as colleagues amongst themselves. And they talked about what their editorial stance is on Gaza. And he told me in an email that they talked amongst themselves and came to the conclusion that the topic is too divisive, it might drag down their channels, that it's a poison pill, and that it's better if they just don't talk about it at all. Now,
that's because he's a pussy.
If you told me like 4 years ago that I would be on the same side as Taylor Lorenz about something, I thought she was the worst.
We've said
I'm
it
on the same page with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I know.
The apocalypse is coming. Right?
Funny story. She liked a bunch of my posts today.
Good.
Marjorie or Taylor?
Taylor Lorenz.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm on to Taylor. I kind of get the feeling that the reason she's doing, listen, well, we've invited her on. Maybe she'll come on and maybe she'll tell me I'm wrong. But I do think that part of the reason she has done this is very similar to that of a jilted lover, very similar to Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo got kicked out of the club. And then the next thing you know, he shows up at the DNC convention in Chicago and he's like, hey, by the way, all those luxury boxes up in the United Center? Yeah, those are for people that paying $250,000 to $500,000 just for the weekend to stay up there and be a big shot in politics. Well,
right.
I can see a situation where Taylor wanted in on this grift. They didn't necessarily see her as somebody who could pull her weight in terms of generating eyeballs on her channel. And she's like, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to expose all you sons of bitches. And sometimes
Alanella, we know she did good, but we can still speculate because when it's self-serving, we like to know who we're dealing with.
Yeah.
That's all. We like to know who we're dealing with.
If it's genuine and she's truly on board with the Palestinian cause, I will fight with her on the front lines forever. Like, that's how I see it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll stay 6 feet away. She can wear a mask on.
Exactly. I don't care. Like, there's one issue now. I'm like a single issue voter. I never thought I'd be a single issue voter, but here I am.
I agree. I never in my life thought. I always actually rejected single issue voterism.
Well,
serious,
it's
like-
because it's not a
Yeah.
single issue. If we can't get behind the idea that the government cannot support this, then I mean,
Right.
all our lives are. I mean, this is beyond
Yeah.
anything. You know, this.
Yeah, I know. And God, and you said, I know you guys are, you lean left. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, funny enough, she follows me, and God bless her. She has done some pretty good work. I know she doesn't always tailor her message the way some people, a lot of people would prefer her to tailor it, but I understand exactly what she's doing. She's talking to her audience, right?
Oh yeah.
And she has done a damn good job.
She has great instincts. And let's be honest, she, much like Massey, is already looking at a world post-Trump, which is very smart on her part. And if she ever intends to run for governor or senator of Georgia, which I believe she will, she's setting herself up very nicely. Don't hate the player.
FYI, I'm actually sitting in her district right now, and I'm actually planning on moving here. So it's kind of funny.
Okay, no, she's going to take on Warnock. She's not going to take on Ossoff.
Yeah, Ossoff definitely has more political capital than Warnock.
He does, and he's smart. He's
got a little Kennedy thing going on. I see it from
he does, and he's got some weaknesses. I know them because that's my shtick. I do campaign finance, and I know where the skeletons are hidden in his closets. Yeah. But I keep my powder dry on that because again, right now, this is the only thing I care about. It's literally the only thing I care about.
Amen.
So, yep.
Brian Tyler Cohen literally has never done anything on Gaza. Beyond that, during the 2020 primary, even though he was regularly putting out videos covering news and politics, never once mentioned Bernie Sanders during the 2020 primary.
That's not by mistake.
Well, they've always been on the payroll. See, that's the thing that I've been saying. I've been saying this for a long time. I mean, I appreciate her coming with the receipts because it's nice to see the receipts. But these people have always been on the payroll. It might not have been very overt, but they've always been on the payroll, or they wouldn't have the crowd that they have.
Yeah, and it also pays that if one thing you guys know for sure is that if you're in the club, if somebody like David Pakman can, with a personality of a wet paper bag, if he can build a channel with 3 million subscribers, it's not that hard if you have the entire Google algorithm backing you up.
And we see today with this rise of Zoran Mamdani, has Brian Tyler Cohen covered him? No, not at all. So I would suggest that, yes, there absolutely is suppression on Gaza, but there also goes beyond that into a broader shutting down of leftist issues. If you are a content creator and you have a platform of 3 million, 4 million people, and it's your job to analyze news and politics for a living, and yet you don't ever mention Gaza, it's I just don't understand how you would be able to sleep with yourself at night. I certainly wasn't able to when I worked for him. To be honest, I sort of feel like I have blood on my hands, or it's he has this audience of 3 million people who are, broadly moderate, centristy, liberal types who, theoretically, if they did hear about what was happening there, then, they might have been more critical of Biden. There might have been potential to pressure him and change his policy on it. But because it was shut out entirely, it became much less present in the public discourse around a certain type of person who isn't getting their news from actual journalists, but paid shills for the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
That's right. He's right. And you know what? The one sympathy that I do have, which Jen has mentioned many times before, is that there's a lot of people that want to speak up, but they can't because their livelihoods are dependent on not saying it.
And I do have sympathy for that. It's if you can't afford to speak up and your kids will suffer and you can't look, when you have a family, you have a family, and I get it. So, but that's why it's so incumbent on people that have that privilege to speak up as much as they can, because not everybody can. And
Yeah.
I don't judge people
No.
who can. I would never expect somebody to like risk their kids' livelihood and their like that's not what that wouldn't serve
Yeah.
us.
So for me, I draw a line. I understand if you can't speak up, but if you sell out, it's different.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know?
I'm not talking about, see, here's the thing. The
Right.
people we're talking about, especially people like David Pakman, they have fuck you money. He
Yeah.
doesn't need to be
Right.
selling out now. He's good.
Yeah.
Right.
He's good.
Right.
So that's where it gets disgusting. And we all know what's what. When you have
Yeah.
someone like Miss
Right.
Rachel, who wasn't really
Lost
involved
all
in
of-
this, wasn't really, whatever. And yeah, she's got fuck you money. And she's using it in the way that's the right way to do it. So it's when people are in that position that have that privilege,
Mhm.
and they don't speak up. That's what pisses me off. Because there's people that can't. That's just the way it is.